So what the fuck is Badger DAO and how did they lose $120 million? Also, how did Celsius get caught up in this mess? The answers to all that and more in today's episode of What
DAO,
is
we're still
going
revealing
on
details of
with
how it was
DeFi?
hacked for $120 million.
Unauthorized users were able to create accounts on Badger DAO.
I keep on telling everyone, it's too long. It takes too long to say, but they won't listen to me. 2 weeks ago, a hacker stole $120 million from Badger DAO, a decentralized finance platform that's trying to find a way to integrate Bitcoin into Ethereum DeFi systems. Basically, it's a DAO that allows people to deposit their Bitcoin with the DAO and then withdraw WBTC tokens, which are backed up one-to-one by the Bitcoin that is held in custody by the DAO. Then those wrapped Bitcoin, or WBTC, can be deployed all over the place and used in DeFi for various silly things. I don't know, watch my intro to DeFi. But what's interesting about this attack is that it was not a hack of the smart contract itself, nor was it a hack of the governance of the DAO. In fact, the code of the Badger DAO is fine. What the hacker did was exploit the Web 2 architecture of the front end of the Badger DAO.
We are in.
Now, what does that mean? Basically, the smart contract and the DAO exist as a backend. And that's the code that would normally sit on a server somewhere that you would query in HTTPS to bring data to you. So the logic of the system exists on the Ethereum blockchain, but you have to interact with it through a browser and through Web 2 technologies that are hosted on centralized servers. And so I'll link this in the show notes below, but here's a post-mortem that they did detailing how it was a Cloudflare exploit that allowed the hacker to escalate their privileges to insert a different contract address when you went to the Badger DAO website. So for instance, if I go to the app, right, like this, I would then be prompted to connect my wallet. I would connect a MetaMask or use a hardware wallet, any number of things. I could say, yeah, I go a wallet detected, wallet connect, ledger, MetaMask. And what the hacker did is it took this front end, which is app.badger.com, and redirected that connect to their smart contract address, as opposed to the smart contract that is the Badger DAO. That allowed them to give themselves privileges to send funds out of the Badger DAO from individuals' wallets. So again, it wasn't the community treasury that was hacked, it was individuals that over the course of time were sort of modified phishing attacked in order to gain access to their accounts and eventually send out large amounts of money. Their attacker, this code that was intercepting their traffic wasn't even up 100% of the time. It was only up to catch the traffic of huge whales, which they go into. If you look through the post-mortem, you can see that it was only up, 24 hours here, 6 minutes here, 8 hours here, but also just 5 minutes here. It was up and down all over the place, very clearly a very sophisticated attack. And all at once they started moving funds out. They started moving funds out and then stopped moving funds out here before everything was stopped here. So they knew that the stoppage was coming too. Clearly a very sophisticated attack that, again, was not an exploit of the smart contract, but instead of the Web 2 architecture, the front end of the DAO. And Celsius was one of those whales affected. I recently did a video on some of the bad news that's been going on for Celsius, and I totally missed this story when I made it. You can watch it here if you really want to. But the point is, things are bad for them, and it seems like they're only getting worse. And as news gets worse for Celsius, they continue to raise their valuation and raise more and more money. So, I don't know. If that's not crypto in 2021, I don't know what is. So, how can you protect yourself from a similar hack? One would be to go and verify the contract that you're interacting with every time you click accept on your MetaMask. Now, that's a little impractical. You probably should do it, but there are ways around it. For instance, I recently picked up a Keystone wallet, which will allow you to add the source code of the smart contracts through SD device into the Keystone itself so that it can unencrypt your transactions and tell you exactly what's happening whenever you're interacting with DeFi apps that you normally interact with. So it requires you to trust them the first time that you interact with them, but from then on, you can trust that you're interacting with the same smart contract because you can verify it on your device. It'll tell you all the information about where it's going and everything like that. And if instead it's just a mass of encrypted transactions, you know that you're not interacting with the smart contract you thought you were, which is sort of an ingenious solution to this problem. And if you want to pick one up, quick plug, click the link in the description. I got an affiliate link. If you want to see my dedicated review of the Keystone, then you can click here. Or if you want to see my quick intro to DeFi, then you can click here.